reliable power supply to Karamoja sub-region. 132 kV Moroto Park substation, which is extending the transmission power grid to provide quality, sufficient and reliable power supply to Karamoja and its surrounding areas. This project has been implemented based on the National Development Plan and Vision 2020. Our vision: electricity transmission for sustainable regional development. Our mission: to buy, transmit and sell quality bulk power.
Of the Board of Directors, Management and Staff of Uganda Bureau of Statistics, we wish to congratulate the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta MUSEVENI, Cabinet Ministers, Members of Parliament and all Ugandans upon the 59th Independence Day anniversary. As Uganda Bureau joined the rest of Uganda to celebrate the 59th Independence Day under the theme celebrating our 59th Independence Day as we secure our future through national mindset change, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is committed to championing our contribution towards socio-economic transformation of Uganda through emphasizing the use of evidence in development planning, decision-making, and policy-making processes. We therefore are committed to providing the country with integrated, coherent, and reliable national statistics, working with the national statistical system that has the users of statistics, the suppliers of the statistics, and the producers, to ensure that we provide timely statistics for planning, investment decisions, and policy making. The obligation we have is anchored on a key strategic goal of having an integrated, coherent, and reliable national score system that is fit for evaluating the national programs, performance of national programs, for planning, providing indicators to monitor the performance of the National Development Plan and the Agenda 2020, which is the SDGs, the Africa we want of 2063, and the East African Vision of 2050. So over the years, since independence, the country has been planning, basing on data. Previously, were the department and the Ministry of Finance until the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Act of 1998 that made us semi-autonomous to generate credible and independent statistics. And over time, significant progress in the use of the statistical data and information generated by Uganda Bureau of Statistics has been evidenced. The 3 national development plans were formulated based on data generated by the national source system. We congratulate Ugandans for having embraced evidence-based planning and decision making in order to achieve socio-economic transformation of the country. We currently have a number of reports, statistical reports, that we have shared with the public, and we are requesting the public to get interested in these reports, read them, see how we are progressing. The most recent one is the Uganda National Household Survey report that was
Up next on UBC, brought to you by...
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to UBC News tonight on this 59th anniversary of Uganda's independence. Now, before we get into our news bulletin this evening, let's first take a look at tonight's headlines.
Brought to you by...
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In tonight's headlines, MUSEVENI asks Ugandans to respect wealth creators. Leaders agree with President MUSEVENI on fighting corruption. General Elweru camps in Karamoja to ensure stability. And in sports, competition tight as more than 200 players seek glory at Woodball Open.
Was brought to you by... Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome you once again to our first edition of UBC News Tonight on this 9th day of October 2021. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. Now we start off tonight's bulletin with President Yoweri Museveni has urged Ugandans to respect wealth creators through maintaining peace to facilitate a big market for them. Museveni was speaking at Kololo Independence Grounds as Uganda marks her 59th anniversary. This year's theme is celebrating our 59th Independence Day as we secure our future through national mindset change. Take a look.
You can see this is the aura that brings in His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Dr. Yoweri Kaguta.
Of honor mounted by the armed forces.
Right, Honorable. Oh, Mama, the First Lady, you are also welcome, Bambi. We love you.
As the norm, a match passed in slow and quick time. ensued. President MUSEVENI said despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the economy has not suffered a big setback.
It was able to achieve a modest rate of growth. By end of June 2022, our GDP will be standing at US dollars about 41 billion by foreign exchange method, and at US dollars 117 billion by the PPP method, purchasing power parity method.
This, according to President MUSEVENI, is without the contributions of the first oil expected in 2025.
First oil to be pumped out of the ground will be achieved by 2025 because all the agreements have been signed. All these achievements are in spite of the corruption of some public officials, including some political actors. I congratulate the whistleblowers who patriotically expose these criminals, parasites, and traitors to their own people.
He says this is in addition to the work done by the Operation Wealth Creation and other wealth creation programs.
I congratulate the Operation Wealth Creation for, in the last 8 years, helping us to reduce abakorera ekida kyonka subsistence actors from 68% of the households to now 39%, according to the latest UBC survey. Let us use the parish model, parish development model, or the Myoga program to convert all these into operators in the money economy with Echibaro.
Referring to United States of America as a young nation, MUSEVENI called upon Ugandans to respect and support wealth creators and maintain peace.
To consolidate peace durably, expand and strengthen the ranks of the wealth creators, we must ensure that the wealth creators are more in number. Right from the beginning, the NRM emphasized the point of protecting life and property. It was actually point number 2 in the 10 points program. And it is principle number 3 in the 4 principles of the NRM, which is socio-economic transformation. You cannot transform society without wealth creation. The USA, which is a new country, only born long after our own fratricidal actors of 1520 AD in the persons of Olimi, Ruitamahanga, Nyabugaro, and Nakibinge, is now a superpower. This new country, which was created long after our little kings here, is now a superpower. Why? Partly for the very reasons I have been telling you in this speech. Respecting the wealth creators, creating a big market for them through integrating the former British colonies into the nucleus of the USA in 1776, ensuring peace, etc.
This year's theme, celebrating our 59th independence as we secure our future through national mindset change, is drawn from the 2021 to 2026 NRA Manifesto, Securing Our Future, that delivered President MUSEVENI his 6th elective term of office.
The NRM always believes in reconciliation. However, reconciliation must be around healthy principles that can create growth and transformation, not stagnation and sterility. Let us not repeat old mistakes. Africa has suffered enough. The future is bright if we act right.
Benatiga, UBC News, Colorado.
Now, political leaders have welcomed President Museveni's gospel against corruption in a bid to stay Uganda's quest for development. They describe as a lesson the recent conviction of former State Minister for Labour, Herbert Kabafunzachi, over an act of soliciting for a 5 million Uganda shillings bribe. This they echoed shortly after the celebration to mark the 59th independence anniversary at Kololo ceremonial grounds. Take a look.
Shortly after inspecting a well-formed parade guard of the day, this was part of President Yoweri Museveni's message on the 59th independence anniversary.
We could have achieved more if it was not for the parasites that want to harvest where they have not sown. Bamlia Biengede.
Apparently, President Yoweri Museveni decrying corruption that has hindered progress in Uganda. It is a message that has been welcomed by other political leaders.
When you reflect deeply on the history of this part of the world, you will notice the phenomenon of the two actors, the producers of wealth, those who produce goods and services, and the parasites, those who want to eat and even prosper without working.
Which all of us in the government and in non-government actors should work together to see that we defeat this challenge of corruption.
These comments come barely days. A former Minister of State for Labour was convicted for soliciting a bribe to Emmanuel Dombo and other leaders. Herbert Kabafunzachi's case of corruption will serve as an example.
People have abused their offices, people have stolen money, people have done all sorts of things. But if a minister can be convicted, then it is going to be a big warning to some other people.
So that whatever resources that are at our disposal should be used to improve the quality of life of Ugandans, but not the few who are privileged to misuse these resources to the detriment of the majority.
59 years of an independent Uganda, and the country is on course to prosperity. It's something that national leaders are optimistic about.
We had over 9 presidents in 20 years. We have had 1 president for the last 30-something years. So this is something that we really feel is worth being celebrated because with peace is a prerequisite of everything.
Barbara Nekesa, the immediate former ambassador of Uganda to South Africa, currently serves as the national treasurer for the ruling National Resistance Movement. She sees a Uganda headed in the right direction.
So we have reached a level whereby we now have an educated labor force. We have an educated human resource as a country. So what we are now embarking on is to increase on the levels and attempts of industrializing our country.
The 2021 Ugandan Independence Day anniversary was celebrated under the theme, Celebrating Our 59th Independence Day as we secure our future through national mindset change. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, whereas roads leading to Kololo Independence Grounds remained closed, business was as usual downtown. This was as Uganda marked its 59th Independence Day celebrations at Kololo Independence Grounds. Saddam Mubale with more.
Mbadde ngamba gavumenti yaffe kyerina okukyusaamu erina okuba ng'etufaako ffe abavubuka essaawa zino okubeera nga tetubungeetera ku street n'okubeera nga tetuzunganya ogenda mu mawanga malala kubaako kyakunoonya. Gavumenti etutegekere tusobole okuva ku street kuba tebasobola tugoba kuva ku street essaawa zino nga tetulina we tusobola kukola ki kunoonyeza kyakulya wategekevu.
Independence ya 59 twetaga bakyuseemu ku mbeera nti tugeze nga kati wano wetukolera ennimiro yaffe mwe tujja ssente. Embeera yali kyuseemu nti karenti kabeere kageragerwa nga katonotono nga kajja mu bye tukola karenti wetukolera.
Mbeera samusingi era sandize kubanga ebiseera ebyo okutegeera obulungi nze nga tetukola mu mulembe guno ogwaffe ogwa MUSEVENI nga tetukola era nga n'ebendera batimba naye mbeera
munaye nze nina omwana balina ojja nenoonyereza omwana wange 10 waneeno
sirubi era ndwagala nnyo emba ndutuuseeko mbeera musanyufu nnyo nga bw'okiwulira. Gavumenti kafyu atuuse mu kafyu ebisaawa emu ennaku nno singa tuli mu kikuba wali wonna saa zino zasanga kulinga ndikufudde mu site gyendi ne mu kutakala sina tabu yonna naye kati saa 12 n'aba ngenze ewaka.
Well, clearly Ugandans looking for a little extra cash even on a public holiday. UBC News Tonight takes a very short break. I'll return with more stories. Keep it locked.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama. At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Get vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Connect your home online with MTN WakaNet Max, a fast and reliable home internet solution to power your streaming, gaming, online classes, work, and CCTV security cameras. The MTN WakaNet Max starter kit comes with a free 4G router, SIM card, and 35 GB bundle with no validity, all at 245,000 Uganda shillings. Visit any MTN service center to sign up.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. Now into our business news. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, together with development partners, have strengthened capacity building trainings to communities in the parishes of Bukoba and Chikandwa Mityana district. They have been established with support from the Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives, with a focus on how to reduce poverty through establishing a village banking system. The Samuel Gwemge coordinator, Uganda, Andrew Kwepa, says the financial literacy training is under the South Korean model and also aims at rural economic transformation. Take a look.
Zembade ngamba government yaffe kyerina okukyusaamu erina okuba nga etufaako ffe abavubuka ssaawa zino okubeera nga tetubungetera ku street n'okubeera nga tetuzunganya ogenda mu mawanga malala kubaako kyakunoonya. Gavumenti etutegekere tusobole okuva ku street kuba tebasobola tugoba kuva ku street ssaawa zino nga tetulina we tusobola kukola ki kunoonyeza kyakulya wategekevu.
Independence ya 59 twetaga bakyuseemu ku mbeera nti tugeze nga kati wano wetukolera ennimiro yaffe mwe tujja ssente. Embeera yali kyuseemu nti karenti kabeere kageragerwa nga katonotono nga kajja mu bye tukola karenti wetukolera.
Mbeera samusingi era sandize kubanga ebiseera ebyo okutegeera obulungi nze nga tetukola mu mulembe guno ogwaffe ogwa MUSEVENI nga tetukola era nga n'ebendera batimba naye mbeera
munaye nze nina omwana balina ojja nenonyereza omwana wange 10 waneeno
sirubi era ndwagala nnyo embandu tuseeko mbeera musanyufu nnyo nga bw'okiwulira gavumenti.
Communities in over 15 villages of Bukoba and Chikandwa Mityana district are undergoing financial literacy training on how to establish and manage village banks. The training being conducted by Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives together with Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives and establishment of model villages in Uganda is geared at minimizing errors caused by cooperators in managing community banks. The trained communities applaud the South Korean model model for changing the ideology of rural communities on savings, saying such trainings will maximize future errors and increase household incomes through investment.
I've learned how to save and how to make a family budget with my family. I've learned like how to use the salary that I've been getting. So it's been of importance.
I learned how to work, how much time I spend on my work, so that I can increase on my income.
So when they get some money here in the bank, they go there for their farms and they get some money which can assist them to their farms.
Small Gamugo Coordinator Uganda, Andrew Chepa, says the village bank will mitigate problems, especially women face, including unreached financial services and poverty eradication with focus on agriculture.
One is to make sure that all members are educated on how their village banks work, also to educate them about financial literacy, so that they know how to manage their money better, to use it better. At the end of the day, they are able to save, they are able to use the loans rightly, they are able to invest wisely.
With partners, the Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives provides modern banking facilities with members trained in management practices, focusing on Small Gamugo principles that build capacity for institutional development. Small Gamugo means New Village Bank in Korea and has been designed to enhance equitable distribution of income in rural communities for economic empowerment in rural Uganda.
And now into sports. Uganda Christian University in Mukono is hosting the 12th Coral Coatings Uganda Woodball Open. The championship, at which Uganda Woodball Federation usually selects its national team, is a full house with over 30 teams and 200 participants.
After almost 2 years out due to COVID-19, Uganda Woodball Federation has witnessed the second physically attended competition. This is the two-day 12th Coral Coatings Uganda Woodball Open, hosted at Uganda Christian University Mukono.
The turn-up alone shows that people have been missing the game, and we believe that this today's event will go down in the history as one of those activities that has attracted very many people to turn up, both in the juniors, such as the youth, the senior category, and then the corporate category.
It has attracted about 15 teams, including Stroke, Prowe, Eminence, Bonabana, Ladywoods, and Indoja University, with the cast of players led by one of the country's best, Lilian Zawede.
COVID-19, of course, has affected every player, and we are playing a chance game this time. We have not trained, we just came up and started playing a game. Most of the scores that senior players are playing are not their real scores, even though they could be fairly okay, but they are not the real players, so the real scores. So we are affected as players.
It's spread across corporates, youth and seniors, with participants competing in the fairway and stroke format in singles, doubles and mixed doubles. During its last edition, Indoja University beat all women, Kampala International University all men, while Bukalabi Primary School edged in that category. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
All right, thank you so much for your company. But before we sign out, let's first take another look at tonight's headlines.
are in the independence mood, and we are glad that you have tuned in to catch up with the trending business stories locally and internationally. We're coming to you on the streets of Kampala, Nile Avenue. The highlights tonight: infrastructural development catalyzes Uganda's economic growth. Solar mini off-grid power plants complement on-grid. MTN lists on Uganda's securities exchange, and South Sudan and Uganda waive entry visa fees. For this and more, stay tuned. It's time for business. Infrastructural development has spurred the rapid and sustainable growth of Uganda's economy. Although government continues to invest trillions of shillings with an aim of socially and economically empowering its citizens, some regions are still lagging behind and need more support from government, as Charlotte Muge reports.
Uganda gained its independence from the British colonialists on October 9, 1962. It was a milestone occasion for the nation. Fast forward to 2021, the country has made significant progress in self-determination and economic development.
Now we are at the stage of takeoff. We must, all of us, work hard to ensure that we lift our households from subsistence to the money economy. But at the center of this is to support the strategy of import substitution and export promotion. And at the center of this is industrialization.
Reduction of the cost of doing business is cited among the major factors that will spur industrialization.
We want to reduce the cost of doing business in terms of making decisions quickly, because private sector needs decisions quickly, needs action. They don't need to talk. Reduce the cost of doing business by reducing corruption, so that people get these services without being bothered by these nonsensical bribes and all that.
However, there is a concern of high electricity tariffs. As the country envisions to become an upper middle income country by 2040, the cost of electricity and generation moving ahead of demand is in the spotlight.
You need to do equal investment in transmission and distribution of power, which means these people have come in with their generators, but then that power must be consumed. Now, if you don't consume this power, it means, but you still have to pay the people who have made the investments. So the push should be to bring the tariff down. You need to broaden the customer base, and that is the push now by government to make sure investments are happening in transmission and the investments are happening in distribution, so that we have got more customers, and the minute you have more customers, that means the tariff will go down.
Generation moving ahead of demand is a good thing. As we speak, generation is ahead of demand with a spinning reserve of around 160 megawatts compared to our maximum demand of 740 megawatts. And also when Karuma comes on the 600, that is also sufficient to run us for the next 7-8 years before the next dam comes onto grid. So Uganda is doing the right thing to invest ahead, but what's more important is after Karuma, government should be closing the next generation deal to ensure that when 7 years after construction comes, we still have sufficient power. Otherwise, the 600 megawatts at the rate at which we are growing is sufficient to be consumed within the next 6-7 years at the moment.
The government of Uganda continues to invest billions of dollars annually in building infrastructure to facilitate rapid social and economic development. Improvement of roads, information technology, and the power generation, transmission, and distribution infrastructure, among others, are outlined among government's key investment priorities.
This power that we are that's being produced and we are transporting is aimed at feeding the industrial parks for economic growth of this country. Because as you are aware, the NRM government, one of the push is to make sure this country is industrialized, and to that end we extend power to these industrial parks. We got one in Napa.
With some regions still lagging behind socially and economically, government is urged to focus more on equitable
Kampala, Uganda is moving far and fast, and if Karamoja wants to follow this, something has to change. And I think in these changes there are difficulties of some people to adapt. That is why we mention education.
Uganda is among the African countries that are experiencing unprecedented sustainable growth. Some of the internal and external explanatory factors include peace and stability, improved governance, economic reforms, and a stronger donor support. Charlotte Amuge for UBC Business.
Thousands of households in rural areas across the country are set to benefit from solar mini-grids, an initiative geared at bringing electricity to off-grid communities. The electrification initiative is supported by government, development partners and the private sector.
Over the last 2 decades, government of Uganda has invested billions of dollars in boosting electricity production and distribution. These efforts have yielded positive results, with 24% of the households connected to the national grid. However, a big percentage of the rural populace are still in the dark, and this challenge may not be solved anytime soon. Other alternatives that provide clean and reliable energy supply are being adopted countrywide.
Areas which may be without power for the next 10 to 20 years. So as mini-grids you can come in, we create, and the advantage of mini-grids is that we are coming in and we create more sort of a micro-economy. So like you saw in Bunjako, instead of those people having been there without electricity or maybe trying to use rudimentary sources of energy, they can use the electricity to do businesses.
This mini solar off-grid power plant in Bunjako Island in Mpigi district is transforming lives.
When we are setting up this, we look for a place which can have a good irradiation from the atmosphere, which can receive at least a good amount of sunshine. All the power that is collected from the other panels outside there comes and is collected into these strings. We have over 6 strings. That is DC power. All the DC power comes into here. Now, this sun try power pick this power from here, DC power, and convert it to AC power. They convert part of it and send it direct to the grid, which is supplying to the community. At the same time, they send DC power to these Sane island masters and the slaves to charge these batteries.
We no longer use a lot of energy, and besides that, we make good profits out of this motorized borehole. The 80 kilowatts power plant is a subsidy-based pilot project estimated to have cost $1 million to set up. With electricity metering system yet to be installed, the locals in Bunjako are currently enjoying free electricity supply to their homes and business premises.
The meters are on the way, that's number one, but another reason was we wanted to give back to the people. Because right now we would have easily switched off the equipment and say that no, let's wait for the meters, but because the people have been patient with us.
600 kilometers away from Bunjako, in Lauryn district, northern Uganda, over 24 of such power plants are being constructed by Wind Energies with support from the government and development partners GIZ and the European Union. Nyeko Bongo, who lives a stone throw away from the soon-to-be installed solar power plant, is excited.
This can change the view of our people from here because they may make something which can create their life ahead.
When I have a stable light, yeah, of course it can help me. Then secondly, I can place one TV there and then keep on watching it.
It is a fact reliable electricity supply is a catalyst for social and economic development. In 10 to 20 years from today, this community here in Lauryn district is not expected to be connected onto the national grid, and therefore this initiative spearheaded by government and the development partners is expected to come in handy in socially and economically empowering the local populace.